Imagine waking up tomorrow with a terrible pain in your back, the kind of pain where even standing up feels impossible. Normally, you'd reach for a pill, ibuprofen, aspirin, something to make it go away. But imagine a world where none of that exists. No painkillers, no anesthesia, no quick relief from a pharmacy. Now imagine living like that every single day. For most of human history, that was normal. A bad tooth, a broken bone, a ruined spine after years of hard work. Pain wasn't something you fixed, it was simply part of life. So how did people survive in a world where pain never really went away? But here's the surprising part. People in the ancient world weren't completely helpless against pain. They actually discovered some early forms of pain relief. More than 5,000 years ago, civilizations in Mesopotamia were already using opium from poppy plants. It could dull pain, sometimes dramatically. Alcohol was another common solution. Strong wine, fermented drinks, anything that could numb the body and quiet the mind. And then there was willow bark. Ancient healers noticed that chewing it could reduce pain and fever. Thousands of years later, scientists would discover why. The bark contained a natural chemical that eventually led to the creation of aspirin. So in a way, ancient medicine sometimes worked. But there was a problem. Actually, two big problems. First, it was almost impossible to control the dose. Too little and the pain stayed. Too much and you never wake up. And second, nobody really understood what these substances were doing to the body. So every attempt to kill the pain was also a gamble. As time went on, medicine didn't just become more practical, it also became a little strange. Medieval healers experimented with powerful plants that seemed almost magical. One of them was mandrake. Its root was believed to have mysterious properties, and in small amounts it could make people sleepy, even numb to pain. Another was belladonna, a beautiful but dangerous plant that could dull pain and relax the body, but it was also highly poisonous. Healers also mixed countless herbs together, strange potions, powders, and drinks passed down through tradition. Sometimes these remedies actually helped. The patient would relax, the pain would fade, and the healer's reputation would grow. But other times, the same remedy could kill the patient instead. In the medieval world, the difference between medicine and poison was often just a matter of dose. And then we reach the most terrifying part of pre-modern medicine: surgery. Until the year 1846, doctors had no reliable anesthesia. If someone needed an operation, they were fully awake. Imagine that for a moment. A broken limb that had to be amputated, a deep wound that needed to be cut open, a tumor that had to be removed. The patient would be placed on a table, several strong assistants would hold them down so they couldn't move. Someone might give them alcohol to dull the fear and the pain, and sometimes the patient was given a piece of leather or wood to bite down on, not to stop the pain, just to keep from breaking their teeth while screaming, because once the knife touched the skin, there was no escape. So, surgeons developed one skill above all others: speed. The faster the operation, the better the patient's chances of surviving the shock. One of the most famous surgeons of the 19th century was Robert Liston. He was legendary for how fast he could amputate a leg. According to witnesses, Liston once completed the entire operation in just 28 seconds. 28 seconds! In a world without anesthesia, speed wasn't just impressive, it was the difference between life and death. So this brings us back to the big question: how did people endure all of this pain? Part of the answer is psychological. When something is normal for your entire life, your mind learns to live with it. Pain wasn't a rare emergency, it was part of everyday existence. A bad tooth, a wounded hand, an aching back after years of physical work. People didn't expect life to be comfortable. In many cultures, suffering was simply accepted as a natural part of being alive. And over time, humans adapted, not because they were stronger than we are today, but because they had no other choice. For many people throughout history, life wasn't something you lived without pain. It was something you lived through pain. And then, Suddenly, everything changed. The year was 1846. Inside a hospital in Boston, doctors were about to try something radical. A patient inhaled a strange new substance called ether. The surgeons began the operation, and something unbelievable happened. The patient didn't scream. He didn't fight. He didn't feel the knife. For the first time in human history, a surgical operation had been performed without pain. At first, many doctors didn't believe it, but the evidence was impossible to ignore. Within just a few years, anesthesia spread across the world, and medicine changed forever. If you found this story interesting, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. And thank you for watching all the way to the end.